welcome to the Gump Report. I do not remember what number it is. It could be almost 69 or 68. 69. This is a Gump Report. You never know what you're going to get. And yes, this is not groundbreaking news. This is a bit old about Cesaro and my thoughts on The Undertaker. I was going to make a video on The Undertaker, but what happened with Cesaro last week, I thought I should add it here with The Undertaker. So it will be sort of breaking news. I think that might be the name of what I'm going to say. Sort of breaking news. What do we got here? First thing, let me talk about The Undertaker before I get to Cesaro. My thoughts on The Undertaker going into the Hall of Fame. No problem with it. He's earned it. He's been in the business long enough that he's earned it flat out twice over. He's earned it. He's earned it just by himself, working with really the best person for him to be inducted by. It's kind of hard because if Paul Bearer was still alive, he would be the only person that truly can make sense other than Vince and Kenny McMahon. But Vince doesn't want to do it because Vince is the type of person that don't like to get in front of the camera unless he has to when he's in his persona mode. So the only person I could see would have been Paul Bearer. Now, the alternates. I'm not too fond of Jim Cornette. I believe he's the one who's going to induct him. I don't really feel like he's the best person to do it. I do agree with Just Alex, and I think JD may be agreeing with him. They both came up to the same conclusion that Mankind would probably be the best person to do it, or maybe Kane. But for me, I think it's hard because it is obvious that Mankind or Kane would be the best people that has worked with him the most. You could see Kane working with him as the Brothers of Destruction. For years, they made huge amounts of waves. Mankind, Mick Foley, who had the incident in 97 where he got thrown off the top of the Hell in a Cell, which made Mankind, which he had a broken nose, made The Undertaker, who was already waning by that time because he was, by that time, been in business, in WWE's business for 7 years, not counting the 3 or 4 years beforehand, before that. So that reinvigorated him. But I think if you want to make this really mean something, I think there's only one person that could be the best to really induct him, but I don't think, well, it depends. When it comes to Paul Bearer's son, his oldest son, I do believe that Mark Calloway has known him for years. He grew up knowing him. So it's not like that's not someone he doesn't know. He probably considers him family. So for me personally, the only person that would be the best person to induct him would be... Not everyone's going to agree with this when it comes to Paul's actual... I can't remember Paul Bearer's actual son's name. But pretty much he would be the best person to induct him because he probably sees him as family. And since he inducted his father, why not induct, in a sense, like an uncle to him? That's what I feel. Now, what does this mean afterward? Because this is the key of this. Undertaker will be and is already considered retired. He has not gone back in the ring since his last match. So what does this mean for a Mark Calloway? Well, easily, he's going to be able to speak whatever the hell he wants now because Vince is not going to stop him, even though he's a legend. And he may come back for maybe special events to say hello, how are you, to be in front of the screen and do rest in... I can't do the eyes go, rest in peace. I can't do it. But you get my point. He will come back periodically like everybody else just to do cameo appearances on WWE TV. I wish I could do that, but I can't. But the point here is this. Next to that, what is he going to do? Here's the thing. He's done one movie, I believe, and that was Suburban Commando with Hulk Hogan. He was in that movie. I don't know if he's been in any other movie other than that one appearance when he was working with him. So it's a possibility he has done maybe movies a couple of times. In his physical condition, he could do movies. He's still pretty young enough that he could do some work if he chooses to. Another thing, he could become a manager. Now, mind you, he doesn't have to go in the ring anymore, but he could usher in the next Undertaker. Now, here's the thing. He liked Keith Lee at one point, and that didn't get him anywhere. He liked someone else. I can't remember. No, he didn't like not saying he didn't like Keith Lee. I'm sure he did like him. But the person he really thought was interesting was Big Cass. So he was working with him at one point more than a few years ago. But Undertaker could become a manager of the next big thing. Counting on how WWE books their shit. But to be honest, it's just me. Will he be working in the business at all? Other than cameos getting a little bit of scratch for WWE, that would be it. I doubt he'll ever be a manager. I just doubt it. Will he work at a performance center? Maybe. Now, would he go to AEW? This is where it gets interesting. It counts on if he has a contract with WWE, because he may have a Legends contract. If he does, he's getting paid a certain amount of money to do what Vince wants. He'll never go against Vince, generally. He may give up some gripe and opinion about things he doesn't like in business right now, but if he's under a Legends contract, unless he tells Vince directly, I want to do this outside WWE, maybe he'll let him do it. But other than that, I just don't see him doing it. Now, if he doesn't have a Legends contract, he can go to WrestleCon or do anything he wants. And who knows, he may go to an AEW. Impact Wrestling, no, I don't see him going there. Not because he can't, it's just I don't see him doing it. I just don't. That's just me. You guys can tell me below what you think. Now, let's talk about Cesaro. Let me give it to you like this. Big Tony, as Sheamus called him. It's upsetting and not upsetting at the same time to see Cesaro 100% gone from the company. Claudio, Big Tony, as Sheamus called him, he had been there since 2011, not counting before that when he worked in FCW and maybe the very early, FCW, I know he was probably working in it until he went into the main roster. Look what this man did. He might have worked a little bit in the most earliest form of NXT, but generally worked in FCW, I believe. Or unless he was just brought in straight. I can't remember exactly. I think he worked in FCW and maybe briefly in the very earliest NXT. But other than that, he was brought in around 2012 to 11. He worked in the first and won the first Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, was taken in by a Paul Heyman who used the heat that he got from Brock Lesnar beating a Undertaker to help this guy. And what did the WWE do with him? Goose egg. Jack shit. They did nothing with him until he started working with Sheamus and did the Bar. Now, he got a lot of success with the Bar. He did. Then he started working with a Jack Swagger and started working with, oh man, I forgot the guy's name, a Dutch Montel. And basically was We the People, which got over big. But then Vince never really cared enough about it. And in the end, it went nowhere. So he had the Memorial Battle Royal shot. He won it and had Paul Heyman by his side, and Creative did nothing with him. He then worked with, guess what? Rick Montel and the Jack Swagger. Did We the People. Got over and then gone. Mostly due to the fact what happened with Jack Swagger, and then they didn't want to do anything with him even after he came back, after he got in trouble doing weed and got caught by the police. And then the Bar. Got a lot of success as the Bar, working tag team, but then when it was finished, what did they do with him? Nothing. Yes, he had the one shot to go after the world title. And that's mostly due because of his contract. Guys, understand. He's, from what we learned in the last week, he did a 1 year extension to his contract. A 1 year extension. And within that 1 year extension, he was allowed to go after the world title. And guess what? He got his shot and never got anything else. And he went up here, and that's it. This guy has been so badly underutilized, it's a joke. I am shocked that Vince just never got him. As he said multiple times to multiple people, like a Brody Lee, I just don't get you. Cedric Alexander, don't get you. Ricochet, don't get you. How many more people you want me to do? Sami Zayn, multiple times, didn't get him until now he does the conspiracy. Kevin Owens was given a huge shot against John Cena, won against John Cena, and they went up and down with him, not getting him. So now, you got Cesaro, a guy who had great talent in the ring, who could easily talk multiple languages, easily talk very good English, had a great look, yes, balled it out, didn't make a difference. I know the feeling because I'm mostly balling out myself at 51, well, almost 51. But the point is, the guy had a look. He had ring presence. He had the physical look. He could talk, tell a story in a ring. He even got his tooth jammed up into his damn face on live TV. Was it live TV? I think it was on Raw or SmackDown. I think it was Raw. And his teeth, clunk, got knocked up into his face. And guess what? Bleeding from his mouth, he still finished the damn match. That shows you how freaking tough this bastard is. And they still did nothing with him. Nothing. And not even talking about any other gimmicks they tried to give him or anyone else he might have worked with. He did all that work and was considered nothing to Vince but a mid-carder that he doesn't get. I don't blame him from doing a 1-year extension. That was pissing off Vince, I'm sure. And the management. They wanted to give him a 5-year deal. He didn't want it. He just wanted a 1-year extension. He got the 1-year extension at this moment, at this time. If it's finished, and I believe it starts next week. Not this week, I think next week. He finished his contract. He doesn't have to wait 90 days to compete. He just did a 1-year extension. That's it. When the extension's done, he can go to work anywhere he wants. Or this week maybe. Wait, not next week. I think it's this week. That this Monday might actually be, or this Tuesday. Monday or Tuesday of this week. His contract is done, and it doesn't make a difference what Vince likes or not. He can go anywhere he wants and work any place he wants. Now, where will he work? And I know they're going to be asked. I know I'm going to be asked. Look, will Claudio, Big Tony, go to AEW? Yes, it's a very strong possibility. And I know people are going to say, oh, not another WWE guy. Shut up. As I said, you don't want to continue letting Vince be in your head. Because it doesn't, and I'm saying this to anyone who watches this, this is not about the internet saying it. You, my friend, male or female or in between, that's the best way to say it. It don't make a difference about them. I'm talking to you. I don't want to hear about them. I want to hear your feelings about it. Because saying, oh, everyone says he's not but a WWE guy, who cares about them? I'm talking to you. Listen to me. He doesn't matter as a WWE guy. Vince never gave him a damn care. No matter how many times he was pushed, Vince never cared enough about him to do anything with him. How many times has he been given something and then Vince said, I'm bored with this guy. He still doesn't make any sense. Gone. When someone is released by Vince, he wants, and I repeat this again, he wants you to think of them as a WWE guy. So they will mean nothing to anyone else. If you don't see that, and you continually see him as a WWE guy, Vince has you wrapped around his little finger, and you will take whatever you like. And to be honest, and I'm saying this honestly, if you complain about WWE TV, but then you continue after seeing this video, saying that he is just a WWE guy, why are you watching me? Why are you watching Impact Wrestling? Why are you watching AEW? Why are you watching MLW? Why are you watching NWA or anything else? If you keep thinking like Vince wants you to, then you should be watching WWE TV. You shouldn't complain. Honestly, I'm being honest here. I'm not disrespecting you. I'm not saying you're a stupid idiot. I'm not saying that you're a bitch. No. Vince has conditioned you. Because as I said in previous videos, when someone gone from one company, you see I'm getting upset. When someone's gone from one company to another, yes, they'll always be remembered by the other company. But once they get there, it don't matter. They start over. Even with the credentials from somewhere else. That has been going on for over 70 years. Vince conditioned you to act like this. Because when someone says, oh, we've been doing this with TNA for years, Vince has been around from the 80s. You have been taught by someone to think that anyone who leaves WWE is a WWE guy. So you've been conditioned from the beginning by someone else or Vince himself to see him like that. I was the same way. So if you only care about that, watch WWE TV because that's what you've been conditioned to do. But if you don't want to see it like that, this is what you get. Could Claudio go to AEW? Yes, strong possibility. He might have been signed or he will be signed. Or he'd go to New Japan Pro Wrestling, which I wouldn't be surprised if he wanted to see what else is out there that he hasn't seen in 12 years. 12 years. He's been in WWE from 2011 to 2022. It's been 11 years. Sorry, not 12. 11 years. It's been a long time. Maybe he wants to go to New Japan Pro Wrestling. He might go to Impact. Maybe. Let's be honest. He may go. Maybe go. I don't know. It's going to depend on how interested he is in Impact Wrestling. Because he's got to see the roster of AEW. Yes, they may pay him big money. But he may know that even though they got some decent writers at AEW, it's hard for them right now, as I said to one subscriber or commenter. I think he might be a commenter and a subscriber. And he says there's no room there in AEW. And I agree, as long as they only have one show that's 2 hours and one show that's 1 hour. And they have two smaller shows that are on, on YouTube that are not really seen much. So until they turn Rampage into a 2-hour show, this is what you get. I'm not saying it's right or not. That's what you got. So maybe he'll see that and say, you know what? They're not ready for me yet. There's no way they can show me because Rampage is not 2 hours yet. So maybe he'll only do a couple of appearances, go away like Matt Cardona did, and maybe go to Impact Wrestling. Or better yet, travel around, do GCW, go to Dragon Gate, go to MLW, may even go to NWA. I know that sounds like it's ridiculous, but you never know with someone like him. He's got money. It's not like he hasn't saved his money. So he can go travel around a little bit and have some fun. Or maybe he may not even wrestle for about a year or 6 months. Maybe he decided, I want to take a break. 3-6 months, take a break. I agree with Just Alex. He said that himself, and I agree with that. Maybe he may take a 3 to 6 month break because he got battered down and beaten a bit. So even though the pandemic gave him more time to rest, maybe he wants to take a break from it completely. Take about 3 or 6 months. I don't know. Now, where would I like him to go? NWA is one possibility. I would love to see Claudio there. Also, Impact Wrestling, I would love to see him there. And eventually, AEW. I wouldn't mind him going to NWA for maybe have a couple of tapings for a couple of months. Then go to Impact and stay there for a year or two. Then go to AEW. It wouldn't be bad. And in that time, I'm sure he'll maybe go to New Japan Pro Wrestling. That would be good. Let him travel around. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. Doesn't mean we'll get it, but that's what I'm hoping for. And I hope you enjoyed this. Gump Report. Please give me a comment below. I hope you enjoyed this. Peace.